Let's talk some Mariners now. Before last night's game, Mariners president of baseball operations, Jerry Dipoto, spoke with the media about the state of the team and the moves the team made. And Chris, you were there. Give us opening thoughts about it.
Well, it's funny where we're at now and where we started the show. We were talking about Hard Knocks and the Seattle Seahawks, and we did see, we didn't mention, we saw a lot of general manager John Schneider on Hard Knocks last night, and he talks about it's not an easy job. You've got to make a lot of moves. You're trying to keep a team together. He talked about having to, part ways with Ken Walker. Not easy when he's the Super Bowl MVP, but sometimes you have to make tough decisions. With that in mind, we move to the Mariners side of things, and there is a lot to dive into with this press conference that took place yesterday. I think Jerry Dipoto's first answer was a tough one to hear from the fans. I understand the point he's trying to make, but this is also a Mariners team that is 4 games under 500, 3.5 back in the American League West. I'll let everyone take a listen, form your own opinions. The question to Jerry Dipoto, first question, how much improved do you feel this roster is now?
And I know this is going to sound absurd to say. This is a tough roster to improve. We've not played well. We've underperformed our talent level, but finding, upgrades from a player perspective in any of these positions leads you back to the best player is probably the one we have, with the exception being that we wanted to really add to that bullpen, and we knew we needed to add to, especially our V left lineup, but a right-hand hitter would be preferable. And, we feel like with Taylor Ward, we got, at least, if not the best right-hand bat that moved at this deadline, and certainly on the short list of the best right-hand bats. Elite on base skills. He's been a good performer in this league for 6 years now, and he fits our team quite well. Obviously, an everyday player who can handle both, but he's particularly good against lefties. And in the Louis deal, we brought back Sir Anthony Dominguez, who has had, vast experience in leverage moments. Obviously, some imperfections, but he's a big-time bat misser who has pitched an important role in a lot of bullpens. And with Carlos Vargas due back on the near horizon and Matt Brass shortly thereafter, we feel like that combination makes us better. And, we tried to stay in tune with other things that might help, make the team a little better. And unfortunately, we weren't able to push anything else across, but we feel like the additions, particularly in the short term of Taylor Ward, the return of Brendan Donovan, the acquisition of Sir Anthony Dominguez, I think the lack of drama associated with simply having a 5-man rotation is all a positive step, and hopefully it gets us moving in the right direction.
Okay, I think everybody, Paul, understands, when he says, we have underperformed, and we're going to get into Cal and Julio in a second. I think some would also say that Josh Naylor has underperformed, but to say it's hard to improve a team that has the second worst batting average in all of baseball, it's hard for me to make sense of that. 29th in batting average, 25th in on-base percentage, 29th in slugging, 27th in OPS. The only positive here is it can't get much worse than that. You have added to the lineup 2 guys that should help, that being Ward and Donovan, 2 guys that help you get those numbers up. Now, 2 guys that help get those numbers down, Refsnyder and Garver, no longer on the team. So, unfortunately, the sample size is going to be short here, Paul, and we don't have a whole lot of time. We got 2 months to go here. So it needs to happen sooner than later that they get things going quickly here. I understand you need guys like Cal and Naylor and Julio to start performing, but it's tough to say hard to improve this team when the team is that bad in hitting right now.
Well, I think one of the best things they did was they finally cut bait with Refsnyder and Garver. I mean, Refsnyder was hitting 140, Garver's around 140 or 160. So it's like, you got 2 guys. Garver had a role on this team, much more so than Refsnyder. So that one kind of made me scratch your head at this point in the season. You're going to bring up Paredes, which is good. I like that move. But they had to at least stop with the Refsnyder experiment. I mean, they paid him $6 million for 1 year. It just didn't work out. He's probably going to get picked up. Heck, but before this day ends, he might be on another team. So,
and I think there's a lot of us that thought that experiment just went on way too long. And there were some of us thinking, oh, maybe he was hurt. Maybe if he takes some time off, he'll come back healthy and we'll see it again. We just never saw it in Seattle.
No, I think that's the biggest thing is that it went on too long. A little bit like the Luis Castillo situation, but at least they addressed that and found a willing trade partner in the White Sox. So that was a good thing. Dipoto was also asked about pitcher Cade Anderson, and the Mariners are looking at him as a possible reliever for this team, which Well, I don't know. I have mixed emotions about that, and I'm not sure how this college stud pitcher, who was a starter his whole career, is going to switch to an MLB bullpen relief role. It'd be interesting.
This is the soundbite, Paul, that is getting a lot of play right now on social media, not only in the Seattle area, but across the U.S. Baseball fans in general. Cade Anderson has been incredible this season in Double-A. We've pretty much talked about him almost every single day on this show. We've showed you his highlights. There was some mild concern out there that the Mariners were possibly going to trade him away, go after Miller with him. They did not. Will the Mariners call him up soon or move him to Tacoma to work out of the bullpen to get some help ASAP with his team? Well, here's Jerry's answer on that.
We're not going to put Cade in the bullpen. He's the best starting pitcher in the minor leagues. I think he leads the minor leagues in everything, not the Texas League, but the minor leagues. And he is trending in every way you can. There's extra velocity. The precision has come so far, even since the day he signed. He's doing everything we could possibly expect or ask of him. We want to build his innings. I think he's at 82 today, and for us to put him in a bullpen right now would be irresponsible for his future development. There is going to come a time where we get to a juncture in the season where we're no longer concerned. Right now, he is the next starter up, and for us, that is an important element, especially now with Louis no longer here. 5 traditional starters on the Major League club, and having a guy like Cade in the background is a really positive thing. So to shorten him up would not be something we would consider. We may get into September if we don't need to tap the extra starter. Now we can talk about more creative things, but we're not going to plan on a runway. We're more likely be creative in how we use him as a Major League once he gets here.
Okay, I absolutely agree with him on this one. He is your next starter up. Think about it. If something happens to one of these 5 starters, it will be Cade Anderson coming to Seattle ASAP. You have to protect this arm. Pitching is so valuable. I remember the first time I went to spring training. My kid was just a youngster playing baseball, and I remember being down there in Peoria, Paul, and I remember seeing there's like 200 pitchers on one field. There's 3 shortstops. there's 100 pitchers on one field. There's 2 first basemen.
Yeah.
I mean, that is what baseball does. They value their pitchers. You need arms. This young man is going to be phenomenal when he gets the call up. And you heard him. He is the next pitcher up. It is baseball. We see it every year. Hopefully nothing happens to any of these starters, but there is a chance something could happen, and you need him ready to go. You don't need him in Tacoma working as a reliever right now. Sir Anthony was not good in his opener. Hopefully you have Brash on the way, Vargas on the way. Munoz has been good. I'm not as concerned right now with the bullpen. I am concerned if something ever happened to one of those 5 starters that Cade Anderson is going to be here and he'll be ready to go. But the last thing you want to do is have him in Tacoma working the 7th and 8th innings, and then all of a sudden something happens possibly to Kirby or Miller, and then boom, you got to retrain him. And there's no time for that right now. Yeah,
I thought the best thing that Jerry said right there was right at the top. We have no plans of putting him in the bullpen, basically saying that's not going to happen. So I love that out of the gate. And then he kind of talked in circles about it. But the fact that Anderson is a bona fide starter, there is no rush to bring him up. And as Chris mentioned, I mean, that's having that guy in the chamber, waiting, loaded up, ready to go, is a good thing, because you just don't know what the rest of this season's going to bring. And if Bryce Miller has an issue, or Brian Wu, who's had issues in the past, you go right down and you get Cade Anderson, you bring him up, fill it, no problem. It should be seamless.
Ready to go like that. A couple other names to keep an eye on before we get to Cal and Julio. Ryan Sloan, he's been pitching well. Michael Arroyo and Laz Montes. Are you kidding me right now? These two, if you've been watching the Tacoma Rainiers, taking an eye on their stats, these two have been on fire, Paul. These are a couple bats that I could see getting the old September call up.
Listen, Montez hits 2 home runs last night, and he drives in 5 for the Rainiers. They still lose the game, but 5 runs, and he drives in 5 with the 2 homers. It's just this guy is built for power. That's what he does. If he gets to Major League and starts facing MLB pitching, where those veterans get out there and go, I got this young guy. He can't hit a curveball. He can't hit a sweeper. I got him. So that's really the next big test for Laz. We know he can hit AAA pitching. He's clubbing it. He's smoking. I think he has 30 home runs this season. So that guy definitely can hit the long ball. The question is, Can he make that transition? As we've seen in the past, these big sluggers come up with a lot of power, and once they face that veteran major leaguer, he's like, I got this, kid, no problem. So that will be the big deal.
And if you're somehow finding yourselves in the playoffs, you're going to be facing a lot of veteran arms. All right, those are the future stars. Back to the current start season. Winding down, the big question remains, will we see the two big stars on this Mariners team, Cal Raleigh and Julio Rodriguez, step it up with the season on the line? Here's Jerry Dipoto's thoughts on if he's seen any positive signs from Cal or Julio.
Julio has had a couple of bumps in the road, obviously, along the way. But as second half, Julio hasn't quite gotten there yet. But I think some of that is the concussion. Some of it is the missed time, and it's just been a bumpier road than it typically has been. All the same attributes are still there. He hits the ball hard. He's athletic. He does good things there. And I do think we've seen, signs of optimism from Cal, He's hit a couple of bombs. He's squaring more balls up, even outs. You're seeing more hard hit balls than we were. And we don't need them to be the superstar versions of themselves, but we have a deep lineup, and if this group performs to its ability, then we can do the things that we want to do. We still have a lot of road ahead of us, and we're within shooting distance, which is why we did what we did at the deadline.
I will say this about the Mariners faithful out there, Paul. They have been behind these two from start to finish this season. I mean, if you are in New York, if you are in Philly, there's a good chance both those guys are getting booed every time they go to the plate, but that is not happening right now. The Mariner faithful says, we are behind you, Cal. We are behind you, Julio. You need to step up, though, and you need to do it right now. I mean, you even said it. You haven't heard any booing over there.
No,
but we're getting close to it, Paul.
No, I mean, when it comes to Naylor, Julio, Cal, there are certain players that just will not get booed there. In fact, when was the last time you heard the Mariners fans boo any particular player?
Well, they weren't happy with Sir Anthony last night.
Well, exactly, but and we're going to talk about him in the next segment. Yeah. But, I mean, I just think when these guys come over and they make that transition after a trade, it's a transition period for these guys. Some it's easy, some it's not, but we'll get to that in the next segment as we look at some of the numbers from Cal. Well, we'll see what Chris is talking about. Sir Anthony comes out last night, makes his Mariners debut. Dipoto had some things to say about not only Sir Anthony Dominguez, but also Taylor Ward.